DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. It is time for the question of the morning. Hot takes or toast? What do you have? Here it is. Now that the Jazz say Cody Williams is done, mononucleosis season ending, evaluate his rookie season. Matt, who's that? See, Matt's pretending not to pay attention.
Stupid. Get out of my face.
Travis, he was completely raw, which is what I expected. I won't declare bust yet, but he needs to show improvement next year.
Well, you can't declare anything. You can give him a grade for this season, but that's not a declaration for your entire future by any stretch. I think you can have two things there. I think his rookie season was extremely disappointing, but that doesn't mean he's a bust. Maybe it will be, but I don't know.
Aaron says he's exactly what the Jazz needed. Without his performance this year, the Jazz would have never won only 16 games. MVP, MVP, MVP.
I didn't hear anybody chanting that when he went to the free throw line.
Ned, he was about what you expect from a number 10 pick, getting more minutes than he was ready for. I saw flashes of good defense. He could improve next year, and I hope he does. Forget all these naysayers.
But the flashes were far too few.
Agreed.
I expected more without expecting much, if that makes sense.
It does. You arrived with a low bar, and he underachieved.
Right.
And I think that's fair. I mean, physically, he is not remotely ready to compete. We just heard the coach, and he obviously didn't play. He's out with mono. Heard the coach talk about getting out physical and out toughed. And you'd see flashes with him, but the slightest hint of physicality seemed to turn him into nothing and send him back to the bench.
And his shot was off. His athleticism wasn't displayed to anywhere near what he could do. And so I think it's disappointing.
Chris, he had some good moments, but overall it looked like a struggle for him. Other Jazz rookies looked much better. Agreed.
Well, the other two did, yeah.
Yep.
That in that particular draft, because those are the only ones who are rookies, obviously. And clearly, as you're rating the rookies for the team that they hit and the picks that they had, it's Collier 1, Flipper 2. I mean, it's a no-brainer. And Williams 3, and Williams was the highest pick. You know, the highest pick, sometimes you can relate that to star ranking going into high school or college from high school in football. Once you get in that side of that locker room, that star ranking is just virtually meaningless. And once you begin the season, I can't say the draft position is virtually meaningless, because if you draft 1, 2, or 3, and it turns out there's 3 good players, really good players, you better get one of them. So you can't just say, oh, wow, man, they hit on these other 2, so they hit out of 2 out of 3, so that's pretty good. And that's not the case if it's a way high pick. Now, Williams wasn't really a super high pick. You know, you put it in perspective of all the kids who've ever dribbled a basketball, and he's the 10th player taken, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you got me there.
But there's a different standard for the second half of the lottery.
Yes. And so I'm not coming down on him or management whatsoever. It looks like for where they drafted 29, and what was the other one, second or third? Flipper was second or third in the second round. Those are pretty doggone good picks. But, you know, I think they knew when they were drafting Cody Williams, they knew they weren't drafting for 24, 25.
100%.
Yeah. So I don't
it's
know
on potential, right.
If you got them in a moment where they absolutely had to tell the truth, I don't know what level of dismayed they are, or alarmed, or any of these negative terms relating to Williams' performance this year. Let's wait. You know, I view him, I was thinking about this last night when I put up the question.
You're going to view him and you're going to compare him to another Jazz player?
It's clearly Exum.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Hayward.
No. Oh, no.
I thought just from the whole thing of like the day you came in, you knew Gordon Hayward had to put on weight. Hayward had a better rookie season and was more equipped to compete early on.
Hayward was the star of Butler's team.
Uh-huh.
Williams was not the star.
He was not.
So that's why I don't make that comparison.
But I thought you were going to go physical transformation that needs to be made. Hayward, from his rookie year to his last year with the Jazz, you put the two pictures side by side, he clearly spent a lot of time in the weight room.
He did, but I don't know that was the number one key to his success. I think it could have just been natural maturity, and he would have been a good player.
Yeah.
Now, he did the work to build himself up, and if I were the Jazz, I'd call Hayward, see what he did. Because physically there's a lot of similarities. But I never felt like Hayward was this overmatched, even as a rookie. Maybe I'm misremembering.
No, I'd agree with you. I don't
Right.
think he was this overmatched. I think his talent was more obvious. He had more success. He had more positive feedback from his play.
Right, whereas I think Exum was way in over his head.
I get the comparison from that angle, yes.
And it was okay that he was way in over his head.
He was way young, but
Yeah.
it was just clear, okay, he's got something there, but there's a long way to go.
Right. And their body types and their athleticism, their agility,
Yeah.
similar. Cody's a little taller, obviously, plays a different position. But the fact that I had almost no expectation for Exum, that's what I related to. Whereas I got to see, and we all did, Hayward on the biggest stage in college. And so I was expecting something. This kid led a mid-major out-of-the-blue team to the final and darn near hit a half-court shot to beat Duke, right? So the expectation going in, Cody Williams was behind two other NBA guys, and they were going to make sure, son, you're way down the list here. So he really didn't have a chance to succeed at that collegiate level. He's only a freshman. If I remember, Hayward stayed 2 years, and he was the man on that team. You'd have to go back to AAU, high school, because Williams was not the man in college. Not even close. And plus, he was in and out of the lineup. He had some sickness, some injury. It was a season that was almost mirroring what Collier did in terms of you really didn't do a whole lot in your freshman season. Now, I believe Colorado went to the tournament. SC was it turned into a freak show with LeBron's son and LeBron's son going into cardiac arrest before the season. I mean, as a kid, that's as scary as can be. And it just never got off the ground. There was too many things in the way. And I think
And then ultimately the coach leaving. And
Collier got caught up in that.
yeah.
And he
didn't have good enough teammates
sickness
around
and
him.
injury himself. Whereas Williams, I view it more towards the Exum line. Now, Exum, what was he, the fifth pick? Is that what he was? I don't think that, he didn't pan out. You got to be able to shoot to a degree in this league. And and injuries, obviously, whatever Exum was going to become, injuries got in the way. He's still in the league, though. Give him credit for that. And so for Williams, I would grade him as an F.
But you want to give him an incomplete?
No, I'll give him an F.
Okay.
If I just grade this season.
Except it goes back to that they didn't draft him for this season.
But I still
They knew he was
expected
gonna
more.
Yeah.
He's still disappointed upon low expectations.
Travis, waste of a pick.
No.
He's given up.
Maybe. But I'm not ready to say that. It might be.
Tony says I had some high hopes for him based on his college career, but he needs to get much more aggressive. He seems very timid when you watch him play. I'm hoping he works on his game this offseason. I think the lack of aggressiveness, the very timid quote here, goes right back to just his physical stature. When he's bigger and stronger, I think it's easier when you're there to feel more aggressive. When you feel like you can overpower the guy in front of you. I'm stronger than that guy. I don't think he feels that. I don't know if he's ever felt that in an NBA game.
No, he was the proverbial boy among men,
Right.
physically speaking. And they talk about it. You're dealing with grown men, and Cody Williams,
Not there yet.
height-wise, but everything else-wise, is just, he's a lad. He's a kid. He's a kid that, if he were 30, 40 years ago, would have just finished his sophomore season because it would have been unheard of.
For him to come out.
Yeah. It'd be like,
Shane.
what are you talking about?
Shane goes right down that road. He says, he should have stayed in college another year or two. But if you're going to go that high in the draft, I can see coming out because you get the money.
It's 100%, man. Yeah. What are you going to do? Never take another man's money out of his pocket.
Yep. But from the basketball perspective,
I don't think he was ever going to go any higher than what he was drafted. But if he went and had 2 bad seasons at Colorado, he could go lower.
yep, or not at all.
So you couldn't risk it. You couldn't gamble on what he was doing.
Nope. With 2 stacked drafts coming up, it was time to go.
The system demanded that he
come out too early.
It's almost like it's not his fault. It's the system. And it's crazy as it sounds because you're not having individual accountability, but that's on the NBA. That's not on you.
So get with the Jazz dietitian and the strength and conditioning and hit the weight room and make sure you're eating right, and he'll gain weight. And then we'll see when he's a little more physically prepared to play in the league how much he can produce.
At that age, do you need to eat right? Is there such a thing as eating wrong?
Yes.
I don't think there is.
Well,
if you're sitting around and doing nothing.
I get there's upside to anything, but I think he can gain more weight more quickly and make sure it's good weight.
But see, the fact that I don't think there's anything bad. When you're that skinny, there's no such thing as bad weight. And I know dietitians want to go nuts.
Yep.
Just like every guy who's a mechanic, his car is never running perfectly. I get that. It's what they do.
That's a good analogy right there.
Yeah.
But it's like if you added 5 pounds, you could have added 7.
But he can do that.
If you eat right.
You can do both. I'm not saying exclusively eat bad or exclusively eat right. Just eat and combine it with the weightlifting and all the strength types of things that they should be able to provide him as long as he shows up. And to me, he's got this illness right now, but whenever he's cleared, that next hour, he needs to be he needs to be down the street here.
Right.
He needs to be at the basketball campus, and he needs to be there every day. To me, go play intramurals, buddy, if you want time off. No.
Well, there's too much work for him to be done, and he can get squeezed out of the league in a heartbeat. There's too much at stake here to be messing around doing anything else and trying to maximize the odds of you finding a really good place in the NBA.
Right.
Which, honestly, you could say to a lot of people, but it's just clear watching him, the urgency has to be there. The other guys, they've got a toehold, they've got a foothold. You can see them starting to carve out their place. Now, where your place is inside the league, you can always elevate yourself once you're there. But, man, it looks like Filipowski and Collier are going to be cashing NBA checks for a long time, whether it's here or somewhere else. But we can't say that about Cody. And he's got to get bigger, he's got to get stronger, and it can't happen fast enough. Everybody's seeing it.
I think that they'll know. You'll be able to judge what level of passion, what level of commitment is probably a better word, to being the best you can be will be seen from May to August and into September as the players begin to gather and get ready for the season. They'll have a great idea. And the way the offices are built over there at the campus is that the offices are on the second floor overlooking the gym. Mm-hmm. They can literally see.
Oh, yeah.
And then to the left there is the weight room that they can see. It's all windowed. They can literally see the young man's commitment. And if he has that commitment, I'm encouraged. If he doesn't, and this applies to anybody, not just him, it's across the board. If they've got that commitment, and you don't need Cancun. No, not now. No, not at all. The only ones I'd give the Cancun out of this group is maybe Kessler and Sexton. That's it. Out of the group that played last night. I mean, the other guys haven't been playing, so I'm not including them. That's it. Every one of them needs to be here every day. I mean, I'll give you a couple of days off around the 4th because it's a holiday, right? And you probably have to have other people in the building with you and maybe give those people a day off so you have it off. Other than that, and Memorial Day, that's it. And then Labor Day. and then if your birthday's in the summer.
How many days off are you given here?
4.
Okay.
I gave you 4. That's good enough. But if your birthday's not in the summer, you get screwed. I didn't even go Pioneer Day, the most sacred day in our state. I did not go.
Carl
July
Malone's
24th.
birthday?
I didn't know. I did not go.
It's Division I football.
Yeah.
It's the Big 12. It ain't intramurals. You got 2 weeks after finals. You got a week in July 4th, and you got a week before camp starts. That's a month. That's probably more vacation than you guys get. And we're a little bummed out that we don't get 3 weeks. Go play intramurals, brother. Go play intramurals.
I agree with him. It was an outrageous.
He was all
claim
wound
by a
up, and you're
coach
like,
who
this
was
is
losing
crazy.
his
But when you got to
job.
4 weeks, it suddenly occurred to him, that's probably more vacation than you guys get. You're like, yep.
These kids don't need that much. No.
Yeah. Talking to a bunch of people who get 2 or 3 weeks? Yeah, 4. All right.
Yes. And I am really intrigued as we sit here a year from now to see what we say about Cody Williams.
Yeah, with another round of draft picks coming in, and the fight for time is on. They can't play all these young guys. We keep waiting for them to trade away, and I guess they have traded away one, right? It's going to be intriguing to see if he can do it, if he can push some of these other guys out of the way and earn some playing time.
Right? Yeah, 100%.
DJ and PK coming up at the top of the hour. Dallin Hall, transfer portal. What does it mean for the BYU guard line? That's coming up at the top of the hour right here on The Zone.